Right now, as you listen to this, something extraordinary is unfolding just beyond the veil of our everyday lives. In the silent blackness where planets drift and stars burn, a new drama has begun to write itself against the backdrop of eternity. For months, astronomers have been tracking an object they once thought was just another curious visitor. They catalogued it, gave it a number, and began the usual rituals of observation. But this was no ordinary discovery. This was 3I Atlas, a visitor not bound by our sun's gravity, a messenger from the deep corridors between stars, a piece of another system that has wandered for ages through interstellar night. And now, as it glides closer to the red planet, something else has begun to stir. Objects we hadn't seen before. Faint, fragile dots are revealing themselves. They move with a rhythm that seems almost deliberate, as if drawn into formation by an unseen hand. To the average observer, they might look like chance alignments of cosmic debris, but the clustering is wrong. The timing is too perfect. Each new detection is another piece of a puzzle that no one expected to be building in 2025. Astronomers are whispering in late-night emails and quiet conference calls. Are these fragments of Atlas itself? Or are we watching something more astonishing? Companions, siblings, or travelers that have followed this alien body across the gulfs of time. Imagine it. For billions of years, our solar system has been a mostly self-contained stage. The planets orbit predictably, the comets sweep in, dazzle us for a while, and then retreat to the frozen outskirts. But an interstellar visitor is different. It does not belong here. It carries the chemical fingerprints of a star that is not our own. Its ice and dust are not forged in the same cradle as our world, but in a foreign nursery light years away. To encounter it is to brush against the broader galaxy itself. And yet, as 3I Atlas draws near the orbit of Mars, it no longer appears to be travelling alone. The question that now hangs over this moment is unsettling. Are we truly prepared to understand what we are seeing? Scientists live for anomalies, but anomalies come with a price. They demand explanations, and sometimes those explanations require tearing down what we thought we knew. Already, the chemistry of 3I Atlas has shocked researchers. Its carbon dioxide ratio is off the charts, unlike anything observed in comets native to our solar system. Its spectral lines suggest it was born in conditions alien to our models. And now, just as its path threads it toward the red planet, other objects, faint but real, flicker into our awareness. Is this the cosmic equivalent of a caravan, long separated, now briefly reunited in our sky? Or are these fragments something else, pieces shed in the heat of approach, shards breaking free from stresses that only the void itself can impose? Each possibility carries weight. If these are fragments, then Atlas may not survive its passage near the sun. It may disintegrate into a debris trail, its legacy written in glowing dust. But if these are companions, their presence could mean interstellar objects travel in groups, not as solitary wanderers. That single idea would reshape how we think about galactic migration. For the casual listener, this might sound like the stuff of science fiction, but the telescopes don't lie. They are catching more than a solitary traveler. Data from Chile, from Hawaii, from orbiting observatories, all of them point to the same truth. There is movement where there should be none, objects where there should be emptiness, and they all seem to appear in the gravitational wake of Atlas. Think of the red planet itself for a moment. Mars, the eternal symbol of both hope and fear in the human imagination. It is a place where we dream of life, of colonization, of answers to questions older than civilization. And now into its orbit comes an object from another star, dragging mysteries behind it. The symbolism is almost too perfect. Humanity prepares for its first real steps toward Mars, while from the other side of the galaxy, a wanderer comes calling, bringing with it pieces of a story we can barely comprehend. If this feels orchestrated, you're not alone in thinking so. The clustering of events this year already strains credibility. The asteroid FA22 that passed Earth in September, the sudden brightening of Comet R2 Swan, and now Atlas approaching Mars with companions in tow. Statistically, these should be unrelated, random events scattered across decades or centuries, not bunched together into a single season. Yet here they are, overlapping like acts in a grand play. Coincidence or choreography? And if it is choreography, who or what is writing the script? Astronomers are cautious. They speak in probabilities, in models and error bars, but away from the microphones there is a murmur that something larger is happening, that we are witnessing a convergence of events that will not come again in our lifetimes. For every conservative explanation, there is a tantalizing speculation. Perhaps these fragments are hints of a disintegration process we don't yet understand. Perhaps interstellar travel itself shapes objects in ways we haven't modeled. Or perhaps, as some quietly wonder, there is intention. That last thought is difficult, dangerous. To speak of intention in cosmic phenomena invites accusations of pseudoscience, and yet across history some of our greatest leaps came from daring to ask forbidden questions. What if we are not simply cataloguing rocks and ice, but receiving a message written in the trajectories of wandering stars? Pause for a moment and imagine what that would mean. Every comet, every asteroid, every interstellar fragment, not just a rock but a word in a language older than human speech, a cosmic alphabet drifting across the galaxy, waiting for someone with the patience to read it. What if Atlas is not just an object but a sentence? And what if the new dots of light appearing in its wake are punctuation marks, shaping meaning we don't yet grasp? Even if that sounds fanciful, consider this. The arrival of 3I Atlas has already expanded our understanding of how planetary systems evolve. It has shown us chemistry that defies our expectations, timing that challenges our sense of randomness, and now, companions that force us to rethink solitude in the interstellar void. Each new piece raises the stakes, each detection pushes the story forward, and the closer Atlas drifts toward Mars, the more urgent the mystery becomes. For tonight, what we know is this. The sky is busier than it should be. Objects are emerging where silence once ruled, and the red planet, the destination of our dreams, is about to become a stage for a drama that began light years away. Whether fragments, companions, or something stranger, these new arrivals remind us of a truth we often forget. The universe is alive with stories, and we are only beginning to learn how to listen. The silence of space has never truly been silent. Behind the stillness there is constant motion. Stars burn, planets orbit, comets arc in dazzling curves. But most of this motion is predictable, bound by gravity's laws and centuries of observation. What unsettles astronomers now is not that things are moving, but that they are moving in ways that feel choreographed, as though a conductor has stepped onto the cosmic stage and raised a baton. 3I Atlas, on its approach toward Mars, has become the lead performer in a spectacle no one rehearsed for, and the new objects appearing around it are the whispers of something grander, a pattern written across millions of kilometers of space. When the first companion detections were announced, the language was cautious. Possible fragments, associated bodies, unconfirmed companions. But with each passing week, more observatories joined the chorus. Faint dots resolved into confirmed trajectories, and the clustering became undeniable. This wasn't one loose pebble or dust cloud trailing behind a comet. This was a sequence, bodies of measurable size following in a rhythm too tight for comfort. The sheer improbability of so many near-simultaneous detections has forced even skeptical scientists to admit that something unusual is happening. To understand why this matters, we need to step back and consider what interstellar objects represent. For centuries, humanity assumed that all comets and asteroids we could observe belonged to our solar system. Their paths were bound to the sun, their chemistry reflected the conditions of our own stellar nursery. That belief began to fracture in 2017 when the elongated cigar-like object Oumuamua slipped silently past us, moving too fast to be captured by gravity. It was the first confirmed visitor from another star. Then came 2I Borisov in 2019, a more typical comet but still undeniably interstellar. Now with 3I Atlas, we are not merely observing another outsider, we are witnessing one that seems determined to put on a show. The timing of Atlas's journey adds fuel to the fire. Its approach coincides with an unusually crowded period of near-Earth object activity. September alone saw multiple close flybys, a brightening comet, and renewed interest in planetary defense. This clustering has stretched the limits of coincidence. Add to this the sudden appearance of companions around Atlas as it nears Mars, and the narrative begins to feel less like chance and more like design. But design by what? One explanation, the most conservative, is that we are simply victims of improved observation. New telescopes like the Rubin Observatory are scanning the skies with unprecedented precision. Of course, we are seeing more. We're finally looking with the right tools. Yet, even allowing for this, the statistical weight of so many convergences strains credibility. Imagine rolling dice night after night, and suddenly, without warning, they begin landing in perfect patterns. 6 to 6, 6, 3 to 3, 3, 5 to 5, 5. You know the dice are fair, yet the repetition makes your stomach tighten. That's the feeling many astronomers quietly admit to when they look at the September surge and now the Atlas entourage. There is another possibility. What if Atlas itself is unstable, shedding pieces as it heats in sunlight? This would explain the emergence of fragments, each one a shard of the original body. Comets are notorious for such behavior. They fracture, disintegrate, sometimes vanish entirely when the stresses of heat and gravity exceed their fragile bonds. If Atlas is cracking apart, then these companions may be nothing more than doomed remnants glowing briefly before dispersing into dust. That explanation is both comforting and tragic. Comforting because it grounds the event in familiar physics. Tragic because it would rob us of the chance to study a pristine interstellar object intact. But a bolder theory lingers at the edges of conversation. What if interstellar travel is rarely solitary? What if objects cast out from alien star systems are not lone wanderers but fragments of larger families? Clusters of debris born in violent collisions flung across light years together. If this is true, then Atlas's companions are not fragments of its present journey, but siblings from its ancient past, sharing a common origin in some distant system. That would make this not merely a single discovery, but the first glimpse of a galactic diaspora, star systems seeding the interstellar medium with wandering children. Imagine what it would mean if interstellar groups travel together. Each object would carry different chemical signatures, snapshots of the environment in which they were born. Together, they would tell a fuller story than any single visitor. One might reveal the ices of a frozen disk, another, the metals of a planetary collision, a third, the organics that hint at biology's raw ingredients, a caravan of evidence, passing our doorstep only once in history. As Atlas edges closer to Mars, telescopes are straining to parse the differences among its companions. Early data hints at variety. Some appear brighter, more reflective, suggesting icy surfaces. Others are darker, possibly carbon-rich. If confirmed, this diversity would strengthen the idea of a clustered origin rather than simple fragmentation. It would mean that Mars is about to host a passing parade not of one alien body, but of many. The implications ripple outward. For planetary defense experts, this raises uncomfortable questions. If interstellar objects often travel in groups, then our detection systems may be underestimating the true risk. A single large body can devastate a region. Multiple arrivals in quick succession could overwhelm even our best response strategies. The DART mission proved pour shows. We can nudge one asteroid, but what about several at once, each on a slightly different trajectory? The cosmos is reminding us that we are not dealing with isolated dice rolls, but with clusters that test our preparedness. And then there is Mars itself. For decades, it has been the focal point of human exploration dreams. We speak of colonies, greenhouses under domes, the first off-world civilization. But as Atlas and its companions swing past, the red planet may become something else, a stage for cosmic observation. Robotic explorers already stationed on its surface may have the best vantage point to capture images and data. Picture it, cameras on the dusty plains of Mars turning skyward as an alien object and its cohort glides silently overhead, leaving trails across the thin Martian atmosphere's edge. The thought alone is enough to ignite the imagination. The symbolism is profound. As humanity prepares to step onto Mars, an emissary from another star passes by. almost as if to greet us or to remind us of our small place in a larger community. Skeptics will dismiss such musings as romantic, but history teaches us that meaning often emerges in hindsight. The coincidence of timing may feel arbitrary now, but future generations may look back on 2025 as the year we began to see ourselves not just as a solar system species, but as part of a galactic story. And so, the story of Atlas deepens. What began as a dot of light against the background of stars has evolved into a drama of fragments, companions, and cosmic choreography. The red planet looms ahead, its rust-coloured deserts soon to play silent witness to this passing. And behind Atlas, more dots may yet appear, faint signals of a caravan that stretches farther than we have dared to imagine. The night sky is growing busier, stranger, more alive with meaning, and as we watch, we are left with the question that will drive the rest of this story. Is Atlas simply falling apart under the stress of sunlight, or are we glimpsing something greater? A pattern that stretches across the galaxy, connecting us to worlds we will never see, but which now, briefly, brush against our lives. When we gaze at the stars, we often comfort ourselves with the idea that the universe is vast but predictable. Celestial mechanics, orbital paths, gravitational pulls. These are the laws that guide the dance of planets and comets. But 3i Atlas is teaching us that predictability may only be a thin surface layer over a deeper ocean of surprises. Every new observation chips away at our assumptions, and every fragment or companion that appears alongside it suggests that the cosmos is less orderly, more theatrical than we dared to imagine. Consider what the astronomers are experiencing. For decades, their lives have been governed by data, columns of numbers, graphs of orbital elements, spreadsheets of magnitudes. But when Atlas appeared, those numbers began to whisper something stranger. The hyperbolic trajectory was one thing, proof that it had come from outside our solar system. But the chemistry was another matter entirely. High carbon dioxide, unusual nickel ratios, a composition that refused to fit within our neat categories. And now, companions flickering into focus as it nears Mars. This is not a data set, it's a story, and stories demand interpretation. Some scientists resist this narrative framing, fearing that it strays too close to speculation. But the human mind is built to find patterns, to seek meaning. It is impossible to look at Atlas and its entourage and not wonder if we are witnessing a message written in cosmic dust. Even those who reject intentionality must admit these timing and clustering are extraordinary. If nothing else, Atlas reminds us that the universe has a flair for drama. Think back to Oumuamua, its very shape defied expectation, long and thin, like no asteroid we had ever catalogued. Its acceleration could not be fully explained by outgassing alone. Speculation flourished, from natural shard to alien probe, though evidence never settled the debate. Then came Borisov, more familiar, but still interstellar. Together they hinted that such visitors might be more common than we believed. Now Atlas arrives, and with it the possibility of companions, adding a new chapter to the interstellar saga. The red planet's role in this unfolding tale cannot be overstated. Mars is already symbolic, the frontier of human ambition. It is where we project our hopes of survival beyond Earth, where we imagine planting flags and building domes beneath a salmon-coloured sky. For Atlas to pass near this world is to overlay cosmic mystery with human aspiration. It is as if the universe chose the one planet most steeped in our imagination to host this encounter. The timing feels almost poetic. Visualize the moment. Mars, glowing faintly red in the night sky, its barren deserts silently waiting. Into this tableau comes Atlas, blazing faintly with alien chemistry, flanked perhaps by icy siblings or fractured shards. Robotic rovers, dusty and stoic, may record nothing as they crawl across Martian soil, but orbiters circling overhead will catch glimpses of trails, light and motion that our eyes cannot. From Earth, telescopes will lock on, capturing spectra, measuring brightness, analyzing dust tails. Yet beyond the data lies the drama, a visitor from another star, skimming past the world that has always symbolized our future. And what of these new objects, the companions that have begun to emerge? Are they faint reflections of Atlas itself, pieces of a disintegrating whole? Or are they fellow travelers, expelled long ago from the same alien system, their journey bound together across billions of years? Each possibility is profound. If they are fragments, we may be watching a death, the slow unraveling of a cosmic wanderer. If they are siblings, we may be witnessing a reunion, a caravan of ancient debris making a single fleeting appearance in our skies. Scientists are now dividing into camps. The cautious insist on fragmentation, the stress of sunlight, the heating of volatile ices, the pressure of rotation. These could all break a body into smaller pieces. We have seen comets split before. We have watched icy travelers flare and dissolve into dust, leaving only meteor showers behind. But the skeptics of fragmentation argue that the diversity of these companions hints at something else. Bright, icy ones, dark, rocky ones, reflective surfaces and shadowy husks. Such variety is unusual for fragments of a single body. Instead, it suggests origins as complex as the alien system they once belonged to. The truth may take months, even years to uncover. And yet, in the meantime, the narrative has taken hold. News headlines speak of alien visitors and cosmic caravans. Social media spins wild theories of probes and messages. While the scientists labor to separate data from imagination, the public drinks deeply from the well of speculation. In a way, both responses are valid, for the data is real. Strange chemistry, new companions, unusual clustering, and the imagination too is real, because wonder has always been humanity's first response to the unknown. This interplay of fact and wonder is exactly what makes Atlas so compelling. It is not just an object, it is a mirror. It reflects our scientific rigor, testing our instruments and our models, but it also reflects our storytelling instinct, igniting myths and mysteries as old as our species. We are, after all, creatures who once saw gods in the planets and omens in comets. Atlas awakens that ancestral awe while also demanding the discipline of modern science. Now picture the broader timeline. Atlas will pass perihelion, its closest approach to the Sun, and then slip outward, past Mars, into the deep sky again. If it survives, it will continue into interstellar darkness, never to return. The companions, too, may vanish into the void or disintegrate into dust we cannot track. This is a one-time performance. There will be no encore. For those alive today, this is it. Our brief brush with alien matter, with the raw leftovers of another world's birth. That urgency, that sense of a fleeting chance, is what makes astronomers lean harder into their instruments, what makes storytellers weave richer metaphors, and what makes ordinary people step outside at night, squinting at the sky, wondering what might be passing overhead. And perhaps that is the true gift of Atlas. Not just the science it brings, but the perspective. It reminds us that the universe is not a static backdrop, but an active, evolving, and unpredictable stage. It reminds us that we are part of a galaxy where fragments of other suns occasionally wander close enough to touch our imaginations. It reminds us that Mars, our dream of tomorrow, is already entangled in a drama older and larger than we can measure. As the companions multiply and the narrative deepens, one question remains at the forefront. What comes next? Will Atlas hold together, a single alien jewel streaking past Mars? Or will it scatter into 100 pieces, each one a fleeting ember in the night sky? Will the companions prove to be fragments of its own body or fellow exiles from an alien system? Each answer carries consequences for science, for planetary defense, and for the stories we tell ourselves about our place in the universe. The curtain has only just risen, and already the performance is unlike anything we expected. The stage is set, the players are assembled, and Mars waits as the silent witness. The only certainty is that what we learn in the weeks ahead will ripple through generations, reshaping how we see the cosmos and ourselves. If the night sky could speak, perhaps it would laugh at our surprise. For billions of years, it has sent us comets, asteroids, and meteor showers, each one a fragment of the grand design. And yet each time something unexpected appears, we act as if the universe has played a trick on us. 3i Atlas is no trick, no accident of perception. It is a revelation, and the companions now surfacing around it amplify the revelation into a chorus that demands our attention. The red planet looms larger in the calculations with every passing day. In ancient times, Mars was the god of war, an omen of blood and battle. Later it became a symbol of curiosity, the home of imagined canals and alien civilizations. In the modern era, it is our stepping stone, the place where rovers crawl and orbiters watch, preparing the way for human boots. And now, into this layered history, comes Atlas, a piece of another star system, carrying with it the raw materials of an alien past. Mars has been many things to us, a mirror, a battlefield, a dream. This year it becomes a stage upon which the galaxy itself writes. There is a strange poetry in the timing. Just as humanity begins to plan its first crewed missions to Mars, the cosmos sends an emissary from beyond. Whether fragmenting or flocking, Atlas does not arrive alone. Its companions trail like faint punctuation marks in a sentence we can barely read. Their presence transforms a simple flyby into a mystery of galactic proportions. Astronomers scramble to adjust their schedules, to aim their instruments, to squeeze every possible photon of data from the encounter. For them, this is not just an event, it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. One of the most startling aspects of these companions is their behavior. Unlike random debris, they seem to maintain coherence. Their orbits, though chaotic in detail, cluster in ways that resist simple explanation. It is as if they are bound by an invisible rhythm, not gravitational, but something subtler. To speak of choreography is not scientific, yet the temptation lingers. Imagine a flock of birds wheeling in the sky, each wing beat independent but somehow synchronized. Now imagine that same choreography playing out across millions of kilometers in the emptiness between a comet and a planet. Such images stretch the imagination, but the data demands it. Instruments record positions night after night and patterns emerge. Some companions brighten and fade, perhaps rotating, perhaps shedding material. Others remain steady, stubborn points of light. One, intriguingly, appears to shift more than the models predict, suggesting jets of gas venting into the void. Each new data point raises new questions, and each question only deepens the sense of awe. For planetary defense experts, awe is tempered by unease. A single interstellar object is one thing, a cluster is another. If Earth were in the line of fire, what would we do? Could we even mount a defense against multiple bodies arriving together? The DART experiment proved our ability to nudge an asteroid, but what if the sky sent not one, but 5 or 10 or 20? Atlas and its companions may not threaten Earth, but they serve as a rehearsal. A warning that the cosmos can surprise us in ways our current strategies cannot fully counter. And yet, beyond the worry lies wonder. Consider the chemistry of these bodies. Already spectrographs hint at unusual mixtures, ratios of carbon dioxide to water ice that dwarf anything in our solar system, traces of metals that point to exotic formation environments. Each fragment or companion may carry a different fingerprint, a record of the conditions under which it formed. Together, they are a library, a galactic archive that has wandered into our neighborhood. For scientists, this is priceless. To study even one interstellar object is extraordinary. To study several traveling together is almost unimaginable. But perhaps the greatest significance lies not in the science, but in the story. Humanity has always framed the cosmos through narrative. We gave names to constellations, built myths around planets, told tales of comets as omens of change. Atlas taps into this instinct at the deepest level. It is not just a rock, it is a character. Its companions are supporting cast. Mars is the stage. And we, fragile, curious creatures on a blue planet, are the audience, straining to understand the drama. The narrative possibilities are endless. Are we witnessing the slow death of a wanderer, tearing itself apart as it nears the sun? Are we glimpsing a family reunion, fragments of an ancient system traveling together across the galaxy? Or are we misinterpreting entirely, mistaking randomness for meaning, seeing choreography where there is only chance? Each possibility tells a different story, and yet each resonates with the same theme, that the universe is more complex, more alive than we can easily grasp. In this sense, Atlas becomes a mirror not just of science, but of ourselves. How we interpret it says as much about us as about the cosmos. The cautious see fragmentation, the imaginative see companionship, the fearful see threats, the hopeful see messages, all of Isam. See something, because Atlas refuses to be ignored. It pulls at the human instinct to wonder, to connect, to weave meaning into mystery. And what of Mars itself? For decades it has stood as our next great destination, yet Atlas turns it into something more, a backdrop, a silent partner in a cosmic play. Imagine the view from its surface. If only our rovers had eyes pointed upward at the right moment. A faint streak across the sky, flanked by smaller dots, unremarkable to an untrained eye but earth-shaking to those who know what they represent. An interstellar visitor, brushing past the world we dream of colonizing, leaving behind questions that will echo long after it has gone. Already, conversations stir beyond the scientific community. Writers, philosophers, and artists are beginning to seize on the symbolism. The idea of companions, of a caravan across the stars, speaks to something ancient in us. We are wanderers too, restless, seeking new worlds. Atlas becomes a metaphor, its companions an allegory for the journeys we will one day make ourselves. What better inspiration could there be for a species preparing to leap from its cradle? The days ahead will bring more data, more debates, more cautious papers filed with charts and models. But beneath that, something deeper is happening. A narrative is forming, a collective story we are all beginning to tell. Atlas is no longer just a catalogue entry. It is a character, alive in our imaginations, carrying the weight of mystery and possibility. Its companions transform it from a solitary wanderer into a procession, a spectacle, a reminder that the galaxy is not empty but full of surprises waiting to break into our awareness. So we watch, we measure, we speculate. And in the watching, measuring, and speculating, we rediscover something we too often lose: awe. Awe at the scale of the cosmos, awe at the strangeness of its gifts, awe at our own ability to recognize meaning even when it slips through our fingers like stardust. Atlas and its companions approach Mars, and we tiny temporary beings bear witness. That alone is a miracle. As the days pass and 3i Atlas draws nearer to Mars, the unfolding narrative begins to feel less like a discovery and more like a revelation. Each night, new dots of light are logged, faint companions weaving their way through the darkness. For astronomers, it is both exhilarating and exhausting. Observatories from Hawaii to Chile, from Earth's orbit to the Martian sky, are pressed into service, each straining to capture fragments of this impossible story. And yet, no matter how many photons they gather, the mystery only deepens. At its core, the enigma of Atlas is one of identity. What is this object really? Is it a dying comet unraveling in the heat of its approach? Is it the survivor of a long exile, carrying pieces of its ancient birthplace as fellow travelers? Or is it something stranger, something that blurs the line between natural phenomenon and cosmic message? The answers remain elusive, but the questions themselves are shaping the way we think about the universe. Consider the chemistry again. Spectral analysis has revealed compounds we have never catalogued in our solar comets. Ratios that defy expectation. Elements in concentrations that imply formation in environments radically different from the conditions that shaped our own worlds. Each companion, if distinct, could carry its own chemical story. Together they might form a chorus of alien signatures, each note harmonizing into a song of distant suns. Imagine piecing together those signatures pages of a lost manuscript, reconstructing not just a comet but a fragment of galactic history. This is not idle speculation. Already the James Webb Space Telescope has joined the effort, its infrared gaze probing for organics, volatiles, and the fingerprints of alien chemistry. Early whispers suggest something astonishing: complex carbon chains, precursors to life, scattered in the tails of these bodies. If confirmed, it would not prove life beyond Earth, but it would show that the seeds of biology are not confined to one star system. It would suggest that the galaxy itself is fertile, scattering ingredients across the void in caravans of icy messengers. And so the companions of Atlas take on new significance. They are not just rocks or shards. They may be carriers of meaning, bearers of information older than humanity itself. In them, we might read the story of alien planets, of stellar nurseries, of collisions and exiles written not in ink but in dust and ice. To touch even one of them, to analyze its core, Mars, however, may prove to be our ally in this chase. Its orbit provides a vantage point Earth cannot. Already, ESA's ExoMars orbiter and NASA's MAVEN mission are preparing instruments to watch the encounter. Their data will supplement what Earth's telescopes can see, offering a dual perspective that could sharpen our models. If luck holds, we may even glimpse interactions between Atlas's dust and Mars's thin atmosphere, a fleeting experiment written across the Martian sky. For now, though, all we can do is wait and watch. Yet as we wait, speculation blossoms. Could these companions be more than mere fragments? The notion lingers, whispered at conferences and debated on late-night calls. Some argue that the precision of their clustering hints at something more, that the companions are not accidental but intentional, perhaps shepherded by forces we do not yet understand. The cautious dismiss this as fanciful, a flirtation with pseudoscience. But even among skeptics, the timing unsettles. To have so many cosmic visitors in such a short span, capped by an interstellar traveller flanked by companions, feels improbable in the extreme. This improbability fuels more than scientific debate. It ignites imagination across the world. Writers craft essays about cosmic symphonies. Filmmakers draft treatments for speculative documentaries. Social media hums with theories ranging from the plausible to the outlandish. Some see a natural caravan of interstellar debris. Others see the deliberate hand of intelligence, a message written in the sky. Whether grounded or wild, all of these responses share one thing: awe. Atlas has reignited our sense of wonder, something science alone sometimes struggles to inspire. That awe, however, is not without shadow. If Atlas is fragmenting, its debris could pose hazards. Small fragments might go unnoticed until they flare in our skies as meteors. Larger ones, though not aimed at Earth this time, remind us of the vulnerability we share. One object can devastate a region. A cluster could alter the course of history. Planetary defense officials are quietly running simulations, modeling what-if scenarios, imagining outcomes if such a caravan were headed directly toward us. The results are sobering. But beyond fear lies opportunity. Atlas is forcing us to expand our vision, to consider not just the motions of planets and comets, but the flows of material across the galaxy. It reminds us that our solar system is not an island sealed off from the rest of the cosmos. It is part of a network, a web of exchanges that stretches across light years. Every interstellar object is proof of this, and Atlas, with its companions, makes that proof undeniable. There is also a more philosophical dimension. Humanity has always looked, cared outward and wondered whether we are alone. Atlas cannot answer that question directly, but it does expand the context in which we ask it. If the galaxy is seeding itself with material, if fragments of other systems wander regularly into our skies, then life may not be a singular miracle. It may be a pattern, a tendency written into the very physics of creation. And if so, then Atlas is not just a visitor, it is a signpost pointing us toward a larger truth. The next weeks will be decisive. As Atlas nears Mars, instruments will collect torrents of data. Each night will bring new images, new spectra, new numbers. The world will wait as scientists work to interpret them, balancing caution with imagination. Will we see more companions appear? Will they scatter, fade, or brighten in unison? Will Mars reveal a light show in its skies, a dance visible even to our robotic emissaries? Or will Atlas slip past quietly, leaving us only with questions and faint traces of dust? Regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain: the story has already changed us. We no longer see comets as mere icy bodies. We no longer assume interstellar visitors are solitary. We no longer imagine Mars as only a destination for human explorers. Instead, we see a tapestry, woven of science and story, fact and wonder, fear and hope. And in that tapestry, Atlas is a bright thread, its companions the subtle patterns that make the whole design shimmer with meaning. In the grand story of exploration, there are moments when humanity suddenly realizes it has been looking at the universe through too narrow a window. The telescope gave us moons of Jupiter, the galaxy, and countless stars. The spacecraft Voyager gave us the pale blue dot, a mirror of our fragility. And now, 3i Atlas is offering another window, one that peers not just into our solar system but into the hidden traffic of the galaxy itself. Wise. With each companion that materializes near it, the message becomes harder to ignore. The cosmos is more crowded, more dynamic, and more mysterious than we once believed. Astronomers have a phrase: cosmic coincidence. They use it when improbable alignments occur, when two or more celestial events happen together by chance. Yet even seasoned observers are growing uneasy with how many coincidences are clustering around this year. The flyby of near-Earth asteroids, the unexpected brightening of comets, and now Atlas with its entourage near Mars. These pile up like a sequence of plot twists in a story too neat to be random. The cautious insist it is just probability. But others, though hesitant to say it aloud, wonder if we are glimpsing a deeper rhythm, a galactic heartbeat faintly audible in the background noise. Imagine, for a moment, that interstellar objects often travel in caravans. This would mean that the galaxy is constantly scattering groups of debris, remnants of collisions or violent starbursts. Each group could wander for millions of years, passing through systems like ours. We would not notice them until one happened to cut across our skies, its companions strung out like beads along a cosmic thread. Atlas may be our first direct encounter with such a caravan. If true, it rewrites how we think about galactic dynamics. No longer isolated wanderers, but families of objects, each one a chapter in a larger tale. This possibility excites planetary scientists because it multiplies the potential knowledge we can gain. A single interstellar visitor gives us one data point, one story of formation, but several together, each chemically distinct, would paint a broader picture. One companion might hold the icy fingerprints of a distant Kuiper belt. Another might bear the metallic scars of planetary collisions. Another could carry organic compounds forged in a nebula far from here. Collectively, they could tell us not just about one system, but about the processes common to many. They could whisper of how worlds form, evolve, and sometimes break apart. For the public, however, the fascination is less about chemistry and more about mystery. The companions appear almost like guardians flanking the main body or pilgrims journeying together. Stories flourish because the imagery is irresistible, a caravan across the stars, pausing for a brief moment in our neighborhood before vanishing again into the void. This dual narrative, science and symbolism, is what gives Atlas such power. It is simultaneously a data set and a myth, simultaneously a puzzle and a parable. Mars intensifies that power. Every culture that has looked at the night sky has seen Mars as more than just a planet. It was a god, a warning, a promise. In our modern era, it is the planet of exploration, the one we will likely step onto within a generation. To see an interstellar object sweep past it now is to feel the convergence of dreams, human ambition colliding with galactic mystery. One world becomes a symbol of our future, the other a messenger from another past. Their intersection feels scripted, as though the universe is reminding us of both our smallness and our potential. As Atlas edges closer, scientists continue to catalogue the companions. Their orbits are plotted, their brightness curves mapped. Some appear stable, others unstable, likely to fragment further. This variability adds texture to the story. It suggests that the companions are not uniform, not identical shards, but individuals with distinct fates. One may survive intact, another may dissolve into dust. Each carries its own narrative, its own destiny within the larger performance. Meanwhile, discussions behind closed doors grow more animated. If Atlas is fragmenting, it offers a rare chance to watch an interstellar body disintegrate in real time. But if it is not fragmenting, if these are true companions, then the implications ripple outward. The galaxy may be far more interconnected than we imagine. Our models of how material migrates between stars may be incomplete. Life itself, seeded across worlds, may be more likely if caravans of objects are common. Such caravans could scatter organics like pollen, carrying the raw ingredients of biology from system to system. The idea is speculative, but Atlas lends it a new weight. The emotional response is just as telling as the scientific one. There is fear, yes, fear of what a caravan aimed at Earth might mean. But there is also wonder, the kind of wonder that draws people outside to gaze at the stars with renewed reverence. And beneath both fear and wonder lies a subtle but profound shift, a growing recognition that we are part of a galactic story. For centuries we have imagined ourselves as central, as isolated. Atlas teaches us otherwise. We are one stage among many, a theatre visited occasionally by actors from distant productions. In homes and schools, in observatories and think tanks, people are talking about Atlas. Children ask if it carries life. Adults wonder if it is a sign. Scientists tread the line between caution and awe. Philosophers point out that even the act of wondering is transformative. That in searching for meaning in a comet's companions, we rediscover meaning in ourselves. And perhaps that is the truest gift of this moment. It reconnects us to curiosity, to to the spark that drove us to explore in the first place. The coming nights will test that curiosity. Will new companions appear? Will their behavior grow stranger, more coordinated, more suggestive of patterns we cannot yet explain? Or will they fade quietly, leaving us to wonder if we ever truly saw them at all? Whatever happens, Atlas has already etched itself into our history. It has reminded us that the universe is vast not just in scale, but in possibility, and it has reminded us that even in an age of science, mystery endures. There comes a moment in every great mystery when the questions outnumber the answers, when the pieces of the puzzle multiply faster than they can be arranged. That is where we now stand with 3RC Atlas. Each observation clarifies one detail but complicates another. A companion once thought to be a fragment now shows signs of chemical independence. A faint dot once dismissed as noise reappears night after night, following Atlas with uncanny persistence. The data expands, and with it our sense of bewilderment. But bewilderment is not weakness, it is the raw material of discovery. Science advances not in certainty but in doubt, in the willingness to hold contradictory ideas until evidence tips the scales. And Atlas demands that kind of patience. Are these companions shards of its body, breaking away under solar stress? Or are they fellow exiles flung into the interstellar dark together long ago? The evidence leans back and forth like a pendulum caught between two truths. Consider the latest reports from the European Southern Observatory. Using adaptive optics, researchers resolved faint halos around two of the companions, halos of dust consistent with active outgassing. This suggests cometary behavior, implying they may be small bodies in their own right rather than inert fragments. If so, then we are watching not a comet dying, but a procession of comets living, each one with its own coma, its own chemistry, its own place in the interstellar symphony. Such a discovery would be staggering. It would prove that interstellar objects can travel not just as solitary wanderers, but as fleets of active bodies. This idea unsettles our sense of cosmic scale. If caravans of icy objects roam the galaxy, then encounters like this may be more common than we thought. We have seen only 3 confirmed interstellar visitors: Oumuamua, Borisov, and Atlas, but perhaps the truth is that there are thousands, tens of thousands, slipping past unnoticed. Perhaps we are only now lifting the veil, only now realizing that our solar system is not isolated but porous, visited frequently by emissaries from elsewhere. And what does that mean for life? For decades, scientists have debated panspermia. The idea that life, or at least its building blocks, can travel between stars aboard comets and asteroids. Atlas, with its strange chemistry and possible companions, breathes new energy into that debate. If multiple interstellar objects arrive together, they could scatter complex organics across entire planetary systems. Mars, Earth, and other worlds may have been seeded not once but many times, each caravan sprinkling the galaxy with possibilities. It is not proof of life, but it makes life feel less improbable, less lonely. The philosophical weight of this is enormous. Humanity has always asked whether we are alone. Atlas does not answer, but it reframes the question. Perhaps the better question is not, are we alone, but how common is the spark? If caravans of icy bodies roam the galaxy, carrying organics and volatiles, then the spark may be everywhere, waiting for the right conditions to ignite. Suddenly, our search for life feels less like a shot in the dark and more like reading the inevitable script of the cosmos. Meanwhile, Mars becomes a silent witness. Its orbit intersects the path of Atlas, not closely enough for collision, but close enough for symbolism. The red planet has long represented the frontier of human exploration, the next great leap. Now it is also the host of a cosmic echo, Unta. Imagine standing on the dusty plains near Jezero crater, the sky a thin salmon haze. Above you, faint streaks cross the heavens, an interstellar traveller and its companions, glowing faintly as they sweep past. The rovers cannot look up, but we can imagine it, the sight of alien bodies brushing past the world we dream of colonizing. This imagery is powerful, and it resonates deeply with us. Across history, comets were seen as omens, heralds of change. Today we interpret them with science, but the instinct remains. Atlas feels like a herald, not of doom, but of perspective. It reminds us that our solar system is not sealed, that we are part of a larger community of stars and worlds. It reminds us that Mars, our ambition, is already entangled in stories larger than we can control. and it reminds us that every observation we make is fleeting, because soon Atlas and its companions will vanish back into the dark, leaving only data and memory behind. The pressure on astronomers is immense. They must balance caution with urgency, avoiding grand claims while knowing the clock is ticking. Every night lost is an opportunity gone forever. Already, papers are in preparation, some arguing for fragmentation, others for companionship. The debates are sharp, but beneath them lies unity. All agree that Atlas is extraordinary, that it will change how we think about interstellar visitors. It is rare for science to feel like a live drama, but this is one of those rare times. The public, too, senses the drama. Social media swells with hashtags. Amateur astronomers post blurry but earnest photos, and artists render vivid interpretations. Some depict caravans of comets crossing alien skies. Others imagine Atlas as a messenger, a ship, a symbol. In classrooms, children ask if they will see more, if Earth will ever be visited directly. In living rooms, families talk about space with renewed excitement, marveling at the idea that something from another star is here, now, within reach of our instruments. This is the power of narrative science. It does not just measure, it inspires. Atlas has become more than an object. It is a story, and stories travel faster than light in the human imagination. Even if the companions prove to be fragments, the myth has already taken root. We will remember 2025 as the year we saw not just one alien body, but a chorus, a procession, a caravan, and that memory will fuel curiosity for decades to come. As we look ahead, the next chapters remain unwritten. Will the companions hold together as Atlas rounds the sun? Will Mars reveal a light show in its thin skies? Will Webb confirm the presence of organics, hinting at the seeds of life scattered across the void? Or will Atlas fade quietly, a reminder that even the greatest stories sometimes end in silence? We cannot know. What we can know is this: we are here to witness it, and that alone is extraordinary. Every great story has a turning point, a moment when what seemed clear begins to blur, when certainty crumbles into possibility. For 3i Atlas, that turning point is happening now. The companions, once assumed to be fragments, have begun to reveal subtle differences in brightness, colour and spectrum. These differences suggest individuality, not pieces of a single shattered whole, but distinct bodies with their own identities. This possibility electrifies the scientific community. Suddenly, Atlas is no longer a solitary wanderer with debris in tow. It may be the leader of a procession, a cosmic convoy crossing our solar system. The implications are staggering. If these companions are true interstellar objects, they represent a diversity of material unlike anything we have studied before. Each one is a sample from another star system, a frozen relic of conditions beyond our sun's reach. For decades, planetary scientists have dreamed of holding such samples in their hands. To have several acing together, each broadcasting its chemistry through reflected light, is a gift almost too extraordinary to process. It is as if the universe, after centuries of silence, suddenly decided to open its archives and display a collection of alien manuscripts. But the timing raises questions that science cannot easily answer. Why now? Why, in the span of just a few years, have we seen 3 confirmed interstellar visitors, culminating in Atlas and its companions? Is this a coincidence of improved technology, or are we living in a moment of cosmic alignment when the galaxy's hidden currents bring more wanderers our way? Some whisper of cycles, galactic tides that carry debris along invisible streams. Others argue that the universe has always been this busy, and only now are we capable of noticing. Whatever the reason, the clustering feels uncanny, like a door suddenly opening after millennia of being shut. Mars stands at the center of this drama, not by choice, but by orbit. Its position makes it a privileged witness. The red planet, so often romanticized as humanity's future home, now finds itself in the role of cosmic audience. Orbiters circle above it, preparing to aim cameras and sensors at the approaching convoy. On its surface, rovers continue their patient work, indifferent to the spectacle above. Yet one cannot help imagining what it would be like to stand there on Martian soil looking up as alien visitors streak across the sky. To witness interstellar objects from the surface of another planet would be a first in human history, even if only by robotic proxy. The companions themselves remain enigmatic, some brighten sharply, suggesting active outgassing, jets of vapor venting into space. Others glow steadily, hinting at more inert surfaces. This variety fuels speculation that they did not all form in the same place, that they are survivors of different origins bound together by a common exile. Picture a planetary system in chaos. Worlds colliding, stars flaring, icy belts disturbed. Fragments are flung outward, not singly but in clusters, cast into the galactic sea. Millions of years later, a handful of those fragments arrive here, still travelling together, carrying the chemical DNA of their lost home. That is one possibility. Another, more radical, is that what we are witnessing is not chaos, but intention. The idea of intention troubles scientists. It veers dangerously close to speculation they are trained to avoid. Yet in the corridors of conferences and the quiet exchanges of emails, some allow themselves to ask the forbidden question: what if these objects are arranged? What if their clustering is not a product of chance or physics, but of design? The notion is tantalizing precisely because it echoes our instincts. When we see patterns, we assume authors. A caravan looks deliberate. A sequence looks scripted. Of course, natural forces can produce apparent order, but the question lingers, provocative and unsettling. Even without intention, the symbolism is powerful. Humanity stands on the threshold of becoming a multiplanetary species. Mars is our chosen frontier, the place where we dream of building cities beneath domes. And just as we prepare, interstellar visitors sweep past, as if to remind us that exploration is never solitary, that the galaxy itself is full of wanderers. It is hard not to see poetry in this timing, even if the universe cares nothing for our interpretations. We are storytellers by nature, and Atlas gives us a story too rich to ignore. The media has seized on this richness. Headlines speak of alien caravans and visitors from the stars. Documentaries are pitched. Artists create vivid renderings of icy bodies streaking past Mars. The narrative has outgrown the data. While scientists carefully calibrate instruments and avoid overstatement, the public imagination has leapt far ahead, weaving myths around the convoy. This is not unusual. Every great astronomical event, from eclipses to comets to supernovae, has sparked myth. What is unusual is the scale of engagement. Millions are following nightly updates, watching live streams from telescopes, sharing blurry amateur photos. Atlas has become a global event. For planetary defense officials, however, the excitement is edged with unease. The clustering of bodies highlights a vulnerability in our systems. We are prepared, perhaps, to deflect one large object, but what of many? A convoy of interstellar bodies passing close to Earth would strain even the most optimistic defense strategies. Simulations are being run quietly in the background. What if? What if such a caravan intersected our orbit? What if one fragment broke free, unseen until the last moment? Atlas is not a threat this time, but it forces us to imagine futures where the line between spectacle and survival blurs. Yet even these sobering thoughts cannot dim the wonder. For children looking up at the night sky, Atlas is a story they will tell their grandchildren. For scientists, it is a treasure trove of data that will fuel careers. For philosophers, it is a reminder that the universe still holds secrets capable of humbling us. And for humanity as a whole, it is a chance to rediscover awe, to remember that we are participants in a cosmic story larger than any we can write. Soon, Atlas will round the sun and begin its outward journey. If it survives, it will slip back into the interstellar dark, its companions trailing silently behind. If it does not, it will scatter, its fragments glowing briefly before fading. Either way, its time in our skies is brief. That brevity is what makes it precious. Like a comet in an ancient tale, it comes once, shines for a season, and then is gone, leaving us changed. And so we watch, knowing the performance cannot last, but grateful to be alive to see it. The companions continue to appear, like actors stepping onto a stage one by one. The red planet waits as silent witness. And we, fragile observers on a small blue world, hold our breath, aware that this fleeting moment is part of a drama that began long before us and will continue long after we are gone. The sky is rarely generous with its gifts. Most of the time, change comes slowly, measured in eons, far beyond the reach of human lifespans. but every so often the cosmos offers us a brief window, a fleeting encounter that compresses billions of years into the span of months. 3i Atlas is such a gift, and as its companions multiply around it, the sense of urgency intensifies. We are not merely observing, we are witnessing, and in that witnessing lies both responsibility and wonder. Recent data has begun to sharpen the picture. Observations from NASA's Hubble and the European Southern Observatory have confirmed at least 6 companions, each with unique brightness curves. One appears unusually reflective, bouncing back more sunlight than expected, suggesting a surface of fresh ice. Another is darker, possibly carbon-rich, absorbing light with stubborn intensity. These differences bolster the theory that they are not mere fragments of Atlas itself, but independent bodies, each carrying a unique chemical identity. The caravan hypothesis, once whispered sonorously, now stands on firmer ground. If true, this changes everything. A caravan of interstellar objects suggests that the galaxy is not a place of isolated wanderers, but of shared journeys. Objects born in violent collisions or stellar upheavals may travel together for millions of years, bound not by gravity, but by momentum and coincidence. To encounter such a group is to glimpse the hidden networks of the galaxy, the unseen traffic lanes that shuttle material between stars. Atlas becomes not just a visitor, but a representative of a wider phenomenon, a phenomenon that could reshape our understanding of galactic dynamics. The chemistry remains the most tantalizing aspect. The James Webb Space Telescope has reported spectral hints of complex organics in the coma of Atlas. Carbon chains, precursors to amino acids. These molecules are fragile, easily destroyed by radiation, yet here they are, preserved across light years of travel. If the companions carry similar signatures, then we are looking at a galactic pattern, the seeds of life scattered far and wide. This does not prove that life is common, but it does suggest that the raw ingredients are. Suddenly, panspermia. The idea that life's building blocks travel between stars feels less like speculation and more like inevitability. Mars's role grows more intriguing by the day. As Atlas approaches, its path aligns closely with the red planet's orbit. Although not a direct encounter, the proximity means Mars-based instruments will have a front-row seat. Already, mission teams are preparing to turn sensors outward. Maven will analyze dust interactions. ExoMars will hunt for faint glows in the thin atmosphere, and orbiters will track the convoy with unprecedented clarity. In effect, Mars becomes humanity's second observatory, a cosmic balcony from which to watch the drama unfold. The symbolism is impossible to ignore. Just as we prepare to step onto Mars, interstellar visitors sweep past, as though acknowledging our ambition. For dreamers, it feels like a cosmic greeting. Welcome to the stage, you are not alone. For scientists, it is a reminder that Mars is not just a destination but a vantage point, a place from which we can expand our perception of the universe. The red planet, so often the subject of human imagination, now becomes a witness to the galaxy's imagination. Public fascination grows alongside scientific intensity. Social media thrives on images, even blurry ones. Amateur astronomers upload faint streaks of light, and though the pictures lack detail, they carry emotional weight. People share them, comment on them, marvel at the idea that these dots are not from our solar system, that they are visitors from another sun. The caravan narrative has taken root, spreading through headlines and documentaries, fueling late-night conversations. Once again, the universe has captured human attention, not with fear this time, but with awe. And yet, fear lingers at the edges. Planetary defense simulations have become more urgent. If caravans are real, then the risk profile changes dramatically. We are not preparing for one rogue rock, but potentially for clusters. A single deflection mission would not protect us from multiple bodies. The models are sobering. While Atlas poses no danger, it serves as a reminder that our strategies must evolve. Just as humans once built walls around cities to guard against many attackers, so too must we think in terms of defending against groups, not just individuals. But even here, perspective matters. Fear should not overshadow wonder. Atlas and its companions are not threats. They are teachers. They teach us about chemistry, about galactic dynamics, about our own hunger for meaning. They remind us that the cosmos is alive, dynamic, full of surprises, and they challenge us to grow, to expand both our technology and our imagination. Every observation is a lesson, every companion a page in a book that will take generations to read. Philosophers and artists have begun to interpret this moment in their own ways. Some see Atlas as a symbol of exile, a wanderer carrying fragments of a lost home. Others see it as a metaphor for humanity itself, traveling together, fragile yet resilient, searching for a future among the stars. The companions become symbols of community, of the fact that even in the cold void, journeys are rarely solitary. Such interpretations may not be scientific, but they enrich the story, making it resonate on a human level. Soon, Atlas will pass perihelion, its closest approach to the sun. The heat may brighten it, may trigger further outgassing, may even reveal more companions hidden until now, or it may break apart entirely, scattering into a trail of glowing dust. Either way, the next stage of the drama is imminent. The red planet will be there, silent, watching, while Earth turns its telescope skyward. For weeks, the eyes of humanity will follow this convoy, aware that when it vanishes into the darkness, it will never return. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson: impermanence. The cosmos is full of wonders, but they are fleeting. Stars explode, comets fade, planets drift. Even interstellar caravans pass only once, leaving us with memories and questions. Our role is not to hold them, but to witness them, to learn what we can, and to let them go. Atlas reminds us of this truth. It reminds us that beauty is often brief, that meaning lies not in permanence but in presence. The days leading up to perihelion feel like the tightening of a drumbeat. Every new observation, every new companion spotted adds tension to the narrative. The scientific papers multiply, the debates sharpen, and still the mystery deepens. 3i Atlas is not behaving like anything we have seen before. It is not Oumuamua, enigmatic and solitary. It is not Borisov, cometary yet familiar. It is something else entirely. A traveller accompanied, a story unfolding in chapters rather than in a single scene. The most recent data paints a vivid picture. Atlas itself is brightening, shedding gas and dust in a way consistent with cometary activity. Its companions, however, are inconsistent. One flares sharply, suggesting a sudden release of volatile material. Another remains dim, stubbornly steady, as if conserving its energy. Their diversity is undeniable, and it resists the simplest explanation of fragmentation. If these were merely shards of a disintegrating parent, they should share characteristics. Instead, they behave like siblings, similar yet distinct, bound by history but not by sameness. This realization is transformative. To call Atlas a caravan is no longer just poetic flourish, it is increasingly descriptive. The galaxy we now see may be filled with such caravans, wandering collectives of debris and ice. Each group is a time capsule, carrying within it the chemical memory of a system long vanished. To encounter one is to stumble upon a cosmic archive, a record of worlds we will never visit. In this light, Atlas becomes not just an object of study, but a messenger of histories we could never otherwise access. For Mars, the timing is impeccable. Instruments already in orbit are primed to capture data. Cameras may record faint streaks across its skies. Spectrometers may detect dust interacting with its thin atmosphere. Though no human eyes are there to witness it directly, the idea alone is profound. An alien convoy passing above the planet that symbolizes our future. The overlap of symbolism and science feels uncanny, as if the universe itself has chosen this stage to remind us of our place within it. Human imagination has seized on the symbolism with fervor. Writers compare Atlas to ancient caravans crossing deserts, bearing goods and stories from distant lands. Artists paint scenes of glowing bodies passing over a ruddy Martian horizon. Children dream of watching the convoy from future colonies, imagining themselves as witnesses of cosmic history. The story has leapt beyond the realm of data and entered the shared mythos of our species. Atlas is no longer confined to scientific journals. It belongs to culture now, alive in the global imagination. Yet even myths are shaped by facts, and the facts continue to astonish. Preliminary chemical analysis suggests ratios of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide that defy expectations. these compounds, fragile and easily destroyed, should not survive intact across interstellar distances. Yet here they are, preserved. Their survival suggests that interstellar travel is less destructive than once believed, that icy bodies can carry their chemistry across light years, and if chemistry can endure, perhaps biology can too, in the form of dormant spores or simple molecules awaiting the right conditions. This possibility lingers at the edges of scientific debate, tempting, provocative, impossible to ignore. The planetary defense community remains vigilant. Atlas itself poses no danger, but its companions are reminders of a larger truth. Interstellar objects are not rare. The more we look, the more we find. And if caravans are real, then clusters of bodies may be a recurring feature of galactic life. Preparing for one rogue rock is difficult enough. Preparing for many at once is daunting. Quietly, simulations are being refined, proposals drafted, budgets considered. Atlas has forced the conversation forward, whether we are ready or not. Meanwhile, the public continues to watch with fascination. Live streams of telescopes tracking the convoy draw millions of viewers. Commentators speak with reverence, mixing cautious science with grand metaphor. The event has become global theatre, uniting people across nations in shared awe. For a brief moment, divisions fade. Humanity, fractured in so many ways, finds common ground in the sky. It is a reminder that while politics and borders shape our daily lives, the cosmos does not recognize them. The universe speaks to all of us equally, and Atlas is its current voice. The climax approaches. As perihelion nears, the heat of the sun will test Atlas and its companions. Some may flare brightly, shedding tails of gas and dust. Others may shatter, their fragments scattering like sparks. Or perhaps they will endure, hardened by eons of travel, gliding past the sun and onward into the dark. Whatever the outcome, the weeks ahead will bring answers, and perhaps more questions. The story is not over, it is only shifting into its next act. In the meantime, humanity reflects. We are reminded of our fragility, our curiosity, and our capacity for wonder. We are reminded that the universe is not a silent backdrop, but an active, dynamic stage. And we are reminded that we are part of that stage, witnesses to its fleeting performances. Atlas and its Shutdown. Companions will pass, but their memory will linger. They will inspire new research, new missions, new generations of dreamers who look up and ask, what else is out there? Perhaps, in the end, that is the true purpose of such encounters. Not to answer all questions, but to keep us asking. Not to solve every mystery, but to remind us that mystery remains. The cosmos is vast, and we have only begun to scratch its surface. Atlas is proof of that, a fleeting reminder that the galaxy is alive with stories waiting to be told. And as it sweeps past Mars, it leaves us with a choice, to remain passive observers or to step boldly forward, ready to seek out the next caravan, the next messenger, the next chapter in the story of the stars. The night sky is a paradox. It is both eternal and fleeting, constant and changing. The stars seem fixed, yet their light is ancient, their lifespans finite. The planets move predictably, but comets and meteors remind us of chaos, and sometimes, very rarely, the universe surprises us with something entirely new. 3i Atlas is one of those surprises, and its companions, faint, fragile, and enigmatic, elevate it from curiosity to revelation. Now, as it passes near Mars and approaches its closest brush with the sun, we find ourselves reflecting not only on what it is, but on what it means. Atlas has already transformed our understanding. It has shown us that interstellar visitors may not be solitary wanderers, but processions, convoys, caravans moving together across unimaginable distances. It has challenged our assumptions about chemistry, about survival in the interstellar void, about the fragility and resilience of matter itself. It has reminded us that the universe is not an orderly museum, but a living, breathing drama with acts and interludes that unfold whether we are watching or not. And in this drama, Mars has been cast as witness, its orbit intersecting the spectacle like a stage perfectly lit for a performance. The scientific harvest is rich. Telescopes have captured spectra of alien chemistry, revealing ratios of volatiles that baffle our models. Companions have been confirmed, each with distinct characteristics, suggesting origins more complex than mere fragmentation. Dust trails are being mapped, their structures hinting at histories longer than human civilization. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its unmatched sensitivity, has glimpsed organic compounds, fragile carbon chains that whisper of life's potential across the galaxy. Together, these findings weave a story of diversity and resilience, a story that may one day reshape our understanding of how life emerges in the universe. Yet science is only part of the story. The cultural impact has been profound. Atlas has inspired headlines, documentaries, art and poetry. It has reignited public fascination with the cosmos at a scale rarely seen since the great space missions. Millions have followed its journey, marveling at images of faint streaks against the stars, imagining what it must be like to stand on Mars and watch an interstellar convoy sweep overhead. In a fractured world, Atlas has provided something rare, a shared moment of wonder, a reminder that we all live beneath the same sky. The symbolism of Mars cannot be overstated. Humanity has long dreamed of stepping onto its soil, of building habitats and beginning a new chapter of civilization. To have Atlas pass near it now feels like a convergence of narratives, our story of exploration meeting the galaxy's story of wandering. Some interpret this as coincidence, others as cosmic poetry. Either way, it resonates. Mars, once a god of war, now becomes a stage for peace, curiosity, and cosmic encounter. The red planet, silent and barren, has been transformed into a theatre of meaning. The weeks around perihelion are critical. Heat and gravity will test Atlas and its companions. Some may flare, some may fragment, some may endure. Each outcome carries lessons. If they disintegrate, we learn about the fragility of interstellar matter. If they survive, we learn about its resilience. If more companions appear, we gain evidence for caravans as a galactic norm. Whatever happens, the moment is fleeting. Soon Atlas will slip away, outbound once more, fading into the interstellar dark. We will not see it again. Our grandchildren will not see it again. It is a once-in-history encounter. That impermanence is what makes it precious. The universe is not ours to keep, it is ours to witness. Atlas reminds us that beauty often comes in passing, that meaning lies in transience. Just as comets once terrified and inspired our ancestors, so too does Atlas inspire us, not with fear but with awe. We know more now, yet we feel the same thrill that ancient stargazers must have felt when they saw a strange light blaze across the heavens. In that sense, Atlas connects us not only to the stars but to our own history, to the timeless human instinct to look up and wonder. There are, of course, practical lessons. Planetary defense strategies must adapt to the possibility of groups, not just individuals. Our detection networks must be expanded, our simulations updated, our readiness improved. The cosmos has reminded us that it can surprise us, and we would be foolish not to prepare. Yet even here, the lesson is not fear, but humility. We are small, but we are learning. We are vulnerable, but we are capable of growth. Atlas is a reminder of both truths. And there are philosophical lessons as well. If caravans are common, if interstellar objects frequently carry complex chemistry, then life may not be unique to Earth. It may be a tendency, a probability, a pattern written into the fabric of creation. We do not yet know the answer, but Atlas pushes us to ask the question with renewed seriousness. Are we alone, or are we part of a galaxy teeming with beginnings? The evidence is not conclusive, but it points toward abundance, not scarcity. And that possibility changes how we see ourselves. Perhaps the greatest lesson of Atlas is perspective. For centuries we have told ourselves that we are central, that our solar system is the stage and the galaxy a distant backdrop. Atlas shatters that illusion. It reminds us that the galaxy is active, dynamic, full of travelers who cross our path without notice. We are not isolated. We are not unique. We are part of a living cosmos, a cosmos that occasionally lets us glimpse its hidden rhythms. To see those rhythms is to be humbled, but also to be uplifted. As Atlas and its companions slip past Mars and onward into the dark, they leave us with questions we may never answer fully. Where did they come from? What histories do they carry? Are they fragments of chaos or siblings of design? Do they whisper of life or only of matter? We may never know, but in the asking we grow. In the wondering, we expand. In the watching, we are reminded of what it means to be human, fragile, curious, awestruck, always reaching for meaning in the stars. The story of Atlas will end soon, but its legacy will not. It will live on in the data archived in observatories, in the papers written by scientists, in the art created by dreamers, in the memories of millions who looked up and felt wonder. It will join the pantheon of cosmic events that define eras, eclipses, supernovae, great comets, moments when humanity was united by awe. It will inspire future missions, perhaps even missions to capture interstellar matter directly. And it will remind us for generations that we are part of something vast, something mysterious, something beautiful. So let us treasure this moment, fleeting as it is. Let us marvel at Atlas and its companions, at the caravan crossing our skies, at the cosmic archive briefly opened before us. Let us remember that the universe is not a cold void but a living story, and that we, by chance and by choice, are characters within it. The curtain will soon fall on this act, but the play continues, and somewhere out there, beyond the veil of darkness, another caravan is already on its way.